Hey everybody. Well, first of all, my name's Kyle. I am an instructional librarian. And I'm really wanting to do these videos for other instructional librarians. Mainly because most of this job, the job that I'm currently working at, I have been working at a small private liberal arts college for a total of, August will be 8 years, which is kind of nuts. But I've been doing instruction for almost 5 years. And a lot of my learning about this job, I've had to do on my own, which I know is the case for a lot of people in many different kinds of professions. But I feel like with instructional librarians and teachers more generally, a lot of it really is this kind of trial and error way of going about, learning different instructional techniques, learning how to be a better teacher, learning just how to do the job. And of course, what makes this even a little bit more difficult is the fact that every institution is different. Libraries are different, right? Libraries, geez. So instruction is going to look different from different institutions, right? So I kind of want to make these videos as a way to try to kind of just help other instructional librarians, just maybe, provide tips, techniques, tricks. A little bit of confession time. So I first started working as an instructional librarian in 2017. I had worked at my institution at that point for about 3 years. I was a library assistant. And the guy who had the job before me, he announced one day that he was leaving. And when he announced, I was literally in my second to last week of my master's program. And within about 1 or 2 days after he announced he was leaving, my boss called me and said, "Would you like his job?" And which was pretty incredible. I felt extraordinarily lucky because library jobs are not necessarily easy to come by, as some of you probably know. And I was completely prepared to just start applying for a whole ton of different jobs out there. And so I got very, very lucky in that regard. I started the job and I didn't really know what I was doing. Of course, I had presented before. I think I've always had a knack for teaching people things, but I didn't really know too much about teaching. I didn't really know that much about pedagogy. I didn't know that much about learning theory. So my first few instructional sessions were interesting, to say the least. Some of them went okay. Some of them did not. Sometimes I walked out of there feeling like the biggest failure. And for a very long time, a lot of my instruction was just kind of lecture, right? Kind of sage on the stage. I was kind of emulating how teaching is usually done in a college, which is kind of like that, So for a long time, I didn't really know what I was doing. In fact, really hasn't been until the last year or two that I've really started getting a better sense of what it means to be a good teacher. Now, I still have a lot of work in that regard. But very recently, and I know that I should have started doing this beforehand. But very recently, I've started learning about learning theory. There's a really wonderful, completely free book that some of you might be aware of. It came out actually, I think in 2017, 2018, maybe 2018. And I believe it's called The Instructional Librarian's Handbook. It's by, I know the last names, I can't remember the first names, but it's by two authors. One with the last name of Saunders and one with the last name of Wong. And it's a very comprehensive overview of instruction. It basically takes you from the very beginning, if you're first starting out, all the way up to more advanced teaching practices. It covers one-shots, it covers assessment, it covers activities, it covers lesson planning, it covers course development, information literacy course development, which I have some experience in. It's very comprehensive, but one of the things I really appreciate about that book, and I think one of its strongest suits, is that it provides a pretty extensive overview of some of the biggest learning theories. I'm talking about behaviorism. I'm talking about humanism. I'm talking about constructivism, social constructivism, cognitivism, and a few others. And not only that, they talk about pedagogical things. They talk about things like the zone of proximal development, which is something that I'm learning quite a bit about right now. And I feel like, and again, August will be 5 years that I've been doing instruction full time. And I really feel like only recently I've been obtaining a better understanding of what it actually means to be a good instructional librarian. And I'm still figuring that out. One of the biggest challenges, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're an instructional librarian or if you want to be an instructional librarian, is getting buy-in from faculty. There's a handful of faculty that are really supportive and really want you to kind of come into the classroom and teach students how to use library resources, how to research, how to do all that stuff. But then there's a lot of other faculty that are either not interested or they don't fully understand the value of what good library instruction can actually do for their students. And the purpose of me making these videos is to try to understand that a little bit better, and also to maybe try to impart some knowledge that I've obtained since I've been an instructional librarian. But yeah, so that's kind of what these videos are going to be about. Now, I've never done this before. I've made videos before. I've made instructional videos before, but I've never made anything like this. Now, this is just literally me doing this on my phone. They may become more polished as time goes on. But I don't know. Maybe they'll be just more kind of off the cuff. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes, what direction I ultimately want to take this in. But yeah, so really what I want to ultimately do is to just kind of impart some knowledge that I've learned so far. And if I continue making videos, if I continue putting out material, these videos might get a little bit more comprehensive. But again, I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff at the moment. We'll just kind of have to see how it goes. But I'd be very interested in hearing what some of your thoughts are as far as being an instructional librarian goes. Even if you're not an instructional librarian, maybe you're just a teacher, maybe you're a professor yourself, maybe you're a high school teacher, maybe you're a middle school teacher, maybe you're an elementary school teacher. Maybe you do some kind of instructional design, but I would love to hear some of your thoughts in the comments. I would want to say, like and subscribe, but I don't really know if I have the amount of content yet to really do that. I'm just kind of seeing how this goes. I'm seeing if I can get any kind of viewership. But yeah, playing this by ear right now. But hopefully after watching this video, you kind of get a sense of what I'm going to try to do with this. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to really say. A lot of this is also me just kind of figuring out what it means to be a good instructor, what it means to be a good teacher. Not just a good instructional librarian, but what it actually means to be a good teacher, because I feel like I'm still figuring that out. And I feel like if I continue in this profession, I'll probably be figuring it out for the rest of my life, or at least until I retire, if that ever happens, who the heck knows? But anyway, so thank you, and I will hopefully be back soon. And we'll just kind of go from there. So anyway, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. And I will see you folks around, hopefully. So anyway, take care, have a wonderful day, and I will be talking to you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.